Wagwan YouTube, it's your boy TC back with another video, and today it's episode 14 of the Daily Gunners Talk. So the stories I'll be featuring in today's episode will be in regards to Alexis Sanchez's abdominal pain, as well as Arsene Wenger admitting uncertainty created last season, and the fight for the Brazilian attacker called Luan. So the first story, as mentioned, will be in regards to Alexis Sanchez's abdominal pain. So reports have surfaced suggesting that Sanchez won't be playing for the first two Premier League games of the season. So basically the reports have come out and said that Sanchez is suffering from abdominal pain. However, prior to him, obviously before he came back, he seemed fit and raring to go. We saw him in training as well at some point last week, and it all looked good. I was personally expecting him to stay. However, this report is actually, or these reports I should say, have actually created doubts in my mind in regards to his Arsenal future. Even though Wenger has continuously reiterated that he's not going to be leaving, this particular story has made me question this whole stance Wenger has been taking in recent weeks. Is it a ploy to just try and appease the fans? So basically my theory is a deal has been done behind the scenes, and we as fans have been told one thing. Arsenal is very, very good at PR and diverting the attention to something else. We've seen that recently with the Stan Kroenke Blood Sport TV channel. Immediately, as soon as that report surfaced that he's actually opened a Bloodsport channel, that very day or the very next day had converted to 100% renewable energy. So I understand the PR games they play and that damage limitation. So I think Wenger has been trying to pull off a deal behind the scenes to get rid of Alexis Sanchez and get some money for him whilst he still could before the contract is up. And then now we're being told that he's got abdominal pain. However, we will have to wait and see if he actually comes back from this injury, and if we're going to be having him for the rest of the season. So please let me know what you think about this particular story in the comments below. So moving on, Wenger has been undertaking multiple press conferences. We are back in full swing. So a report came out today. Well, it's not even a report, it's a visual of Arsene Wenger admitting that uncertainty that he created last season in regards to his contract situation contributed to the failures of last season. As you all know, we didn't qualify for the Champions League for the first time in over 2 decades, and for me that was a shambles. Yes, we ended up winning the FA Cup at the end of it all. However, I'll still consider it a terrible season. So the report that came out today suggests Arsene Wenger admits he created uncertainty at Arsenal last season, which did impact on the Arsenal's Premier League campaign. And Wenger says a group of players came to see him to demand to know what was going on in regards to his own situation. The Frenchman saw his side fail to finish in the top 4 for the first time during his tenure, as they ended the campaign in the 5th position outside the Champions League places. The Gunners did win the FA Cup days before Wenger finally signed a 2-year deal to keep him in charge at the Emirates until 2019. So I'll go back to this whole damage control limitation situation. He waited until we won the FA Cup and he announced his deal. So again, they're very clever in how they conduct themselves within the media. So the report further states that, but the lack of clarity over his future beforehand caused supporters to split, with a lot of inconsiderable sections of the fans calling for Wenger to depart. And the 67-year-old has now admitted it also affected the dressing room. He went on to say that my attitude had an impact on the season, because at some stage the players came to see me and said, "What's going on, boss? When do you go?" said Wenger. He was speaking at the FWA live event at the Ham Yard Hotel in Soho on Wednesday night. He went on to say, "I created with not deciding a lack of clarity in the dressing room, and there's nothing worse than that in the dressing room. When you're not completely in, or the players feel you're not completely in, it's difficult to tell them we go. So at some stage I had to tell them, look guys, I'm with you, but we have to win the games." So Obviously, he's obviously admitted that he affected the outcome of last season. But my issue is why didn't he come out and say this at that point last season so we understood and the players understood what was going on? Even to the response he gave to his own players, it still was not clear enough, in my opinion. So what do you guys think about this? Please let me know what you think in the comments below. And the final story in today's episode links in to the first story that I featured, which is the abdominal pain issue with Alexis Sanchez. So now apparently Arsenal are linked with a Brazilian attacker called Luan, who currently plays for Grêmio. So it is also, the report suggests that Liverpool are also in the race for this particular player, but I don't see this being true due to the fact that Liverpool has signed a number of attacking players already this season. So the report states that Arsenal and Liverpool are reportedly preparing moves to sign Grêmio striker Luan. He's said to be available for around £26 million. Luan looked set to join Spartak Moscow after the Russian side made an £18 million offer. But the deal has now collapsed, and the Brazilian outlet Zero Hora say Arsenal and Liverpool are ready to move in for the striker. Both Premier League clubs are actively looking to make signings in the final weeks of the transfer window. But Arsenal boss Arsene Wenger has admitted the players need to leave before they strengthen their squad. So this is something we've mentioned in previous reports, that we need to sell first before we can buy. He goes on to say that the numbers in the squad are too high, and this is according to Arsene Wenger. We'll let some players go and then we can decide if we can bring in some new players. So I believe we're not stronger from last season. Maybe up front we may be with Lacazette, but if we lose Sanchez and Ozil decides to act in an unprofessional manner, we'll be basically stuffed. There would not be any improvements in our squad. So I believe we still need to sign. And however, I understand this is a business. You need to sell before you can buy. So please let me know what you think in the comments below about this particular story. Do you know much about Luan? Do you believe he'll fit into the style of play? We've also purchased Lacazette, and this is yet another striker we are linked with. So please let me know what you think in the comments below. And just a quick recap, in this episode we've featured the Alexis Sanchez abdominal pain issue, Arsene Wenger admitting to his mistakes from last season, as well as the fact that we've been linked with a Brazilian striker named Luan. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button on the video. Once again, it's your boy TC from I'm Gonna Talk TV, and I'm out.